Yadamo say ahwefo yasamba na ye di nkomo na yenkomodi no befa memede twa mu MPP amayoku no abom koto ye di de obitu frankade ma wosesi yakase de omonya ano na Dr. Mahmoud Baumia mampenia be de akire abato no na wiye no onya hamu chemu adusia baako ene echipo adunum nson na fe wo maka no chede aka no na owura kana de Japan so kɔ nanim ye papa enya bɛyɛ ɔhama nkyɛmu aduasa enson ndi abrosa na ekɔ na wiye no na ababetu dwa sɛ mpanyinfo bi o party ni mu ayi ni mu ɔmo agidin obi tse Dr. Amuakoba wode tu dwa ekyire mu sɛ wɔno de MPP amayoku no ahwe yi a butwa mu damage odomba court and Dr. Baumia nyina adan a say protocol meka no o se vote by say abatoa yeto yedisika eto na nchirichiri mu de man no dodo no a kire say o meya so afo na se bedwafo dodo no adom ho de kwata Dr. Baumia chi na omunim sika ichuchia ma delegates emom koto abadma Dr. Baumia no chese koba ne say ma MPP amayoku no ne nyina so ne fapimo gina so ede echichire party no amanfo ato atwene na ma party no enya dimpa enu asamba ko a waka eyampa na sentisa man pembe de cheso da to dwechire mu say he will be his own man ono ankasa obede no ho anya de a ode no ni betu obi aso na mo no oba with his own vision ono ani so ade hu a obi de mata ho ono ani plans the strategy or the bechi chiroma no ebinom so ka se watena mampene be je chidi bra no mfie nson ni edien wa wotumi amfa mo mampene ote so sabere ama oman na nkodanim na mu no no beba ansa na a new vision aba man ana mampene ote so sabere anya ntum amfa anya adwuma weni nsema wodo bi na nadwe ye nya bra ye bidi ho enkomo ntie na nipa abakame se ofie ha eye NDC amayoku ndinu mu no Peter Kwesi Mensa o kan communication team no ho na fe atake Yakobo nso ka MPP communication team no mienu na na nadwe no mu ebedi nko abejafo ma munyina akwa aba da mo asese mu de mo bren so akyeye atake watu awie modi nkunum mampanya be de akire na sisi wafa otu franka no e de amamo o say he will be his own man, he has his own vision and their etetetisa na emimi say ni own vision a owo no ene de ewo he
dedika me de chema ahwefo na masande nchiama Peter or representing NDC and I'm hoping that we will have a very, very nice show. Also mefa akwenye yusu na mabo MPP party in Abaso. We had a very, very peaceful congress, presidential primaries. Say with minimum coming yantu be there are some minor setbacks by obisu midin na never album na necklace obisu picture you can see necklace and all those minor issues are about with even the general elections are easy and so. And I think that those are excesses or excesses that we can manage. Excesses that we can manage. And I think that in general it was a peaceful conference. Myself Aponya is now made the congratulatory message ama the vice president, now the flag bearer of the ruling MPP, and also Mefa Aponya so now my son congratulate Honorable Kennedy Akwampre Japan. I think it's not easy for you to go for an election, spend so much, then right after the defeat, about podium, so then you come and speak so well in uniting, calling for the unity of the party. I would like to also congratulate the other aspirants and every MPP member. Now, the Vice President can say he will be his own man with his own destiny. I think that's the right thing. Reason being that, check over the years, he's not the first vice president to take over from a president, or he's not the first vice president, the president, or no take over the mantle of the government. In the year 2000, Abra Mills, Rawlings Echo, he handed over to Mills as the leader of the party. Mills came with his own vision. Campaign message and then say Professor Mills is just going to be the same as Rawlings, and Rawlings is the one who's going to control Professor Mills. At the end of the day, we all saw Mills to be way different from JJ. In 2012, Arakwa Professor Mills fees, we were saying that on Shadan Canon Hosano. But when Mahama also took up, we thought that it was going to be the same thing, same team and Mahama cried by Edward Ruli. But when Mahama became the caretaker president, he did his own changes with the CEOs and the ministers and all that. Obey president in 2013, elected president in 2013, Mahama came with his own vision and a dream way different from that of Professor Mills. And if Vice President Mahmoud Babia is saying that he's going to have his own destiny, chart his own path, I be different from President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President supports it. Unless maybe you want to tell me, say, Mills was the same as Rawlings and Mahama was the same as Mills. Unless you want to tell me that style of leadership was the same, their style of politics was the same. Politics is different, despite they being the vice president of president. And what Dr. Mahmoud Babia is saying now is not anything different from what other people have done. It has happened before, and I believe that he's going to have his own vision that is different from the president. The can't say the own vision now, the politics, the human relation, the policies are other governing country, and also they are all part of the destiny that he's going to create for his own self. And for me, I think that's the best statement that he made that night. One of the best statements that he made that night, trying to let us understand, say, as a president, he's going to be his own man. He's going to have his own path. He's going to be, I won't say he's going to be different. When I say he's going to be different, that means that we are trying to throw this current one under the bus, which is not so, because we are going to campaign on the achievement of MPP. Campaign, almost all the aspirants tried some way, one way or the other, to castigate the party. It was only Dr. Mahmoud Bamia, who stood in to defend the achievement of the party and also took the blames of the party. Okay. Dr. Mahmoud Bamia pay. I'm not going to campaign. Dr. Mahmoud Bamia pay. And now, Oteki blames of the government and the achievement the government is making also. He was the person who also took it. And he took over the challenges, and he took over the strength of the government too. And we something that I would say it's going to be different. We MPP take the blame. And we say taking the blame is part of the problem being solved. So we know the problems, we know how to tackle it, and we shall tackle it. Unlike you see one thing about you see. Some people care about interior, that is security, right? Crime rate above form. Crime rate above form. If you want to talk about education, we have been able to put students in school, the enrollment than any other in free SHS, any other government since 1957. We have been able to do it. In terms of enrollment.
I know you blame.
Debbie, hold on. Let me. Some interior, security, education.
You said blame.
Debbie, there's a comma there. Let me end with the full stop. Then you understand where I'm coming from.
What can be said blame? I'm say also take. I'm say I know they okay. Then I want to hear. I'm also take that blame.
Mekacho say accepting the blame is part of tackling the issues, right? And to blame now, accepting say the economy needs to be built. Yeah, and you been more. Na economy no you almost so abefo na ajake.
You must accept blame. Blame say economy no mama na nyi nti mo agi atum na mo hwe na masisi na.
Accepting the blame. There are reasons why the economy has a problem, and the part of the reason why the economy has a problem is that the same thing you can say. One, COVID-19 is part of it. Russia-Ukraine war is part of it, and even their own presidential candidate John Dramani Mahama accept that it's part of the problem. Let me also Obagana politics as usual, but when he goes out, it's different. Let me read one of the statements I'll make here in one of the conferences that he had abroad. Let me read it to you. You give me a second. I'll read it to you. From John Mahama. And if he doubts it, I'll send you the video. I'll send the video to your producer. Now let me read it to you. He said, one of the conferences abroad, he said, Africa has significant fragilities that makes us particularly vulnerable to the effect of the global disruption such as the pandemic we are just coming from. We are also going to be the hardest. We were always going to be the hardest hit by the phenomenon of that magnitude. The COVID-19 pandemic was therefore a most unwelcome and unpleasant eventuality that impacted the continent severely. Data from the Economic Commission of Africa shows that COVID-19 created the continent's worst recession. From John Dramani Mahama. Data from the Economic Commission of Africa shows that COVID-19 created the continent's worst recession in 50 years, with the real GDP shrinking by 3%, in averagely by 3% in 2020. That is one paragraph. I can go on. Before the pandemic, poverty reduction was already a major challenge. The pandemic is estimated to have dragged about 55 million more people into poverty in Africa, says John Dramani Mahama. And I'll give you the fact to support it on the GDP growth. Let me give you the GDP growth.
GDP, what can be say? You have to accept the blame and fix the economy. And maybe so say, do you want all patch them say? She say no economy na enko yi no and as economy baby a ye wo sisi no menka sekuye na sekuye ye wo sisi no aba no aja to mu say so wo je mfum so to mu na say wafum na wo je mfum so to accepting blame no meaning say e bibi ato chimo baby na sa de na to chimo no eye mo na mo ye nti mo hwe na mo asiesie because so ka say the economy need to be fixed.
Eja, let me tell you something. One of the indicators, right, in measuring the economy, all right, has to do with unemployment and GDP. Adia said they share the growth of the economy, all right, and one of them, two of them, unemployment rate and the GDP growth, right. Now let me take you back to 2014. 2014 unemployment rate 4.50, 2015 6.81, 2016 5.11, in 2017, right, unemployment rate 3.37, 2018 3.43, 2019 3.46, 2020 3.77, 2021 3.96, 2022 3.90. We will say more than some unemployment we are 14%. You will verify all here. 2023 4.67. Our West is their best in terms of unemployment rate. Now, on the GDP, hold on, on the GDP. So I'm out to indicate it. Me say unemployment.
What say? Maybe sound. What say? The economy need to be fixed. What say? What say? You have to accept blame and fix the economy. Say my job to say economy say the aye no. Monfum so na basa.
There's a comma. Let the full stuff come. Then you can know where I'm coming from. Yes, I know you words from my mouth. Now on the GDP growth, so you've asked me a question. Let me learn on the GDP growth. All right. Before you ever do this period, I won't know the economy was doing good. We all attest to the fact, and some of the indicators had to do with the GDP growth. In 2014, the GDP growth was 3.2. 2015, 3.9. 2016, 3.7. When we took over when we took over the economy of this country, 2017, GDP growth was 7.9%, highest ever in the last 20 years. 7.9%. 2018, 6.3%. Nowhere did the NDC come closer in GDP growth. 2019, 6.5%. 2020, COVID-1 number, lockdown, it came to 0.51%. 2021, we tried to bounce back 5.4% of growth. Now 2022, we came to 3.1. And to take the GDP growth of this country in 2022, West 2020 was the worst because of the lockdown. But 2022 West aside the lockdown, it was better than the NDC's best. In 3 years.
Blame now maybe sound them some person be man.
I said that the blame is the cause is the pandemic. With Mahama even said
Mampeni Abedi Achire Ekokan yes he's being his own man, has his own vision, no. And they were him. mamiti oswanu ye na fe
medase yemfa kwanya sinchia Ghana for wajebre na wo hwe wa fidi kasie baby ekodu bia yewura John Dramani mama Ghana for afew Ghana for de nchia sonkoma baby awo bia yesi papa obuonie ene baby awodu bia de yesi yewura mama obuonie Jacob ni minjia menua so yenna MPP fo a omokoto aba weekend yenna wo mase sanse politics na ye no edu baabi a si ye bodawru aba nokre na ye kan na amanfo ntie na edu baabi na ebi mhu se nokre ne die eye fitaa enti wosi tia wosi ebo wona baso wahu aba MPP fo koto ye ne japabna MPP fo asho verdict say ewomsi ye MPP fo ba nokre ene nyame anim nie yewura baomia ye mpeno
ade tina ka so mo
aba na ye to wie ye no wo de me ba me obetima ase ya komni ni njire mu MPP we no nyese MPP bia foot soldiers supporters keke MPP mpanifo a mo dibire wo party no ene kotoaba ye toaba wie ya yewura baomia oye darling boy to yewura kufuado MPP delegate about 74,226 CM Pebaumia. Empemed song and 9. A triple ahabiunu near Dunun singer. MPP Penifo, Empemed your song 9. A triple ahabiunu and near Dunun singer. CM Pebaumia. Na sabio proye ketasese kankan amamua ahokyere na dokro oman Ghana yewomu nyina no ne kese egna baomia so ente wom se ye MPP fo but ye beka no kre no ye mpa baomia ade point number 1 I was ye hunu no abana ekoto nyina MPP for over 70,000 delegate not just food soldiers omu di dadibira no se ye mpa baomia. Number 2, Yewura Bawumia is known as established candidate. Yewura Bawumia used in office as vice president for 7 good years and nurture the dream to become the flag bearer of MPP. Is that what? Yewura Kennedy Japan enrechi heyana yet is one person contest you. Enrechi heyana se Kennedy Japan any yewura Bawumia kwako am watumi anya 37%. Not just say indirectly MPP people have rejected Bawumia because Bawumia used to over 7 years later utilize the system and establishment of the government to push this agenda. Ken just came in just recently. Now watumi push yani Bawumia kwachani wenye 37%. Adabraka. It's a total rejection.
Kennedy Japan have been in the party for a very long time.
You see, yes.
Kennedy Japan for a very long time. So, okay, Mampenia be the chair in the office, no, the nature, the presidential ambition. Over Kennedy Japan, so for so long, you are MP, no, and in some kind, said you are stronger party, no. And your query so no so after Sakon so the nature no one, and I be the or declares over contest and Emania Diamano.
Yen na yen say MPP mono. From day 1, an agenda and a set say Yewura Bawumia will be contesting after President Mama, after President Kufuor. And in the party, no, or must say near man, yes, Yewura, your friend is saying, Kennedy Japan is in the party. Well, Yena Juma, but at no point, and Yewura Kennedy Japan, Ababon, will be contesting for MPP flag bearer, and that's what Beko say. But with Yewura Bawumia, from day 1, I swear mu in obi anim enti party say no adodo na krakra na de na ba bedu sam pempesui I want take advantage ni nyina da enti nka no obi nim say wanya krakra be 95% de wanya enti Kennedy Japan be 8 months ago and odi class one so be contest bi atimi na wa ba be pre within this short time when you 37% it's a rejection. The to so bieza anya kwabra aside the party machinery system na omo use ye ni nyina sika ye tugu abato yi mu no enye sika ba na amafo de amemmeremfe ne sika ye de ma woni nyina chi na se wakwa akonya 61% na emu 74,000 of delegates ye mpewo usika wo de ba ye nyina o de mu dada ye nyina o ni nyina ye mpewo a e kire se within the MPP party omo de signal na ma ye Ghana for say e wo se ye MPP for ba no kure ane no kure ye wura ba womia oman ni sesi ya baby a ye wo no ye biggest problem e ye the economic challenge ono susu ana ya superintendent over the economy enti se na ye economy na practice ya pansam na obia oda economy na no ase ono na ye mfa tumi ma no so medi anim biem dia adabraka MPP for say omo nye Ghana for saburi into over 70,000 of them have rejected Yoruba. And that is a good signal to Ghanaians say ye aye party ma ya rejected Yoruba Ghana for ye chere say
what kind of rejection
yes.
as if say a contest a battle
yes
obia ne susuye ene said the original ade ho fa obia the campaign message call and a party for no bi ne hu say owura kana Japan no ne nsam o ka no omo gitum say no betumi aboa ena mapembe de chiri de no so keka no no so mugiri se betumi aboa adani mo wo baabi Dr. Uso Efri Yakoto so e baabi ono so e ka ne de ne ye enti sa ni pa nyina obi aka ne de enti no de obeka beton krofa som no ena bi on betumi apija no mo de aye de som de enye sa no bi aye ya bedu baabi aye dure
eja kwamna enya se sa ne ye ya ena omunya sase ena eja wo bi anka me ka che se yigura ba omia sa de unya kwapo gome but influence inducement sika ye tugu mu no so ekoye another factor afa de yemra yewura bawumia na nkasa ne so ene de opese o divert ye na attention edeko eya kwam na efra bibi political credibility na babia ye du ewo ma ne yemu no se obi asofa for political credibility a eyewura bawumia esan say chronologically wajane ho obi a sabio politics mu no onka no kore onfa no kure e maganafo e wo politics na ye ne mo enti obi betimi a start na wa ka kire yen say ewura omia de ye ka obi a onka no kure e wa amanyo semu a e ye ewura omia enti anyini ndi many one delegate okoto abama a ewura ken e kasa na mbusa sa menua wo ye MPP nipa de enti na wanto abama ye friend say ewura omia na monkofo heli no say me ko UK last year na me ko ye short course bi na class na wakoye no oni ambrofo ne ye na program no mo ye ne governance and leadership enti omo ye group discussion and the discussion was on political deception and its relation to election fortunes enti omo discussion na omo ye cross national analysis enti analysis na omo ye no mo bobo amama hodo ena broni ba ko ka kire say wayere ho a wo ka man hodo asem no ye ka political deception a ebi wo krom ena say how no say go to your phone check the biggest liar in Ghana your vice president no say obuwa what e kwa na ofa na phone etima fa me phone obi a wo hwe me bia betimi afa na phone the biggest liar in Ghana just google it. Oh, Google, you are the biggest liar. No, everybody say you are Baumia. It's at the end of the day, the political credibility. So Google, I just to say the biggest liar in Ghana now. Now, some MPP, you know, I said the basis here. And in Brazil, and yeah, we're told now. What to about it here? You are Baumia. No, the political credibility because on Google, on internet, it has been accepted. Say in Ghana. Upe political figure bia entro enada pa dokrona hiwa baumia na effect ne so wo hono ma e da bi say no political credibility no MPP ni no kra appoint this political credibility
I take ayi Dr. Mako Banso de nsemi abetum na ne sama wo kan say aba mokoto me de twa mu no aba to no sika komu na se de sika komu no ha adwene enti ono ode beko court no nimu se wode abato court we di asamra bewie no aba motu ye no o me declare no null and void na wuti ni some kana na che say amanfo agi sika ansa na mokokoto aba ene bibi etetete sa Dr. Makuba ye MPP ni wakasa ochire na dwene omo party no enti se otumbi na nkasa asem we ya e de na e kire mo as political party.
Okay. Eja.
Yeah.
I share you movie way a series House of Cards. House of Cards a series on Netflix. House of Cards. Na Kiefer Sutherland na active movie no. And one of the quotes in the movie now say democracy is overrated. Democracy is overrated. And what Amakoba is saying is one of the shortfalls of democracy. A free speech is entitled to his free speech. He can decide to take it to court. That's not a problem. If he knows how to campaign, or could say chairmanship, no. Like last one on of compete, he got the last vote in the MEP chairmanship recently, called super delegate, national delegate conference. So he's the last person to even give us education on election and how election should go. You went for election, you lost miserably, and you want to give us lectures, so many lectures on how we should run a campaign. Secondly, you see, when it comes to political campaign,
yeah,
young fan is home. Or your candidate now be PA baby to say, what about constituency? Be to say, trouble the constituency, right? Now, udu honum no. Omu nyina ehia wo ACP. Obi free Fise na eba. Obi free Amamole na eba. Obi free Tantra Hill na eba. You have to find something for him as transportation to go back. And even journalists are mobile programs at times. When you come, the more view for transportation, you guys don't reject it. That is not inducement. Does it mean you will not go report what you saw there? Does it mean that? So who gave who money? Say, I'm buying your vote. Nobody did. And with the NDC, same happens. All political parties, see, media for mobile, they give you something with the Mokwan, with the more transportation. It doesn't mean that they bought your conscience and you know report what happened there. When the police are leaving, patrols say, oh, more money just buy, boy who buy. Not that they are buying them. Into Obia there, you just have to show appreciation. So somebody lives with Jane Jumao, with Jado in a no aba, we move from baby Obia Babishao. Of course, so the Munjin Tunsu. One cast a more jatomo, me person of Thomas, also to Ubia, 400 Ghana city, 300 city, the return padre. I'll come down here. So I will go there, I will not waste my time on him. I would like to respond to some of the comments. Minu Peter make here. I'll say MPP delegates don't want Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You check maybe about Freeba. He's come from Northeast region, one of the smallest region, not only in the northern region, but one of the smallest region in Ghana. Into Oko election, you check base or support base, and the support base or region support base. He's coming from the northern region. It is not the same size, or it's not anywhere close in terms of delegates. And Ben Central Region crowd. In terms of delegates, so and Ben Ashanti Region now, Adanimo Efri. In terms of delegates, so and Ben Ashanti Region now, Dr. Efri Akoto Efri. But Bawumia was able to get 61.something%. And let me also tell you, so since 1992, this is the highest voter, first-time presidential candidate be Enya. And he's not the first vice president to contest parliamentary presidential primaries in this party. Dr. Alhaji Ali Mahama was the vice president. He contested. Did he come closer to what Bawumia got, the president Bawumia got? I don't think he even made up to 15% of the vote. But this is the same person. I don't know what the same characteristics from the northern region, a Muslim, as same as Bawumia, but he couldn't achieve it. First time out, Edubahe, a contest in 1992, only 54%. The next time, Kufuor contested that same election in 1992, he was fourth. 1996, when Kufuor came, he had 51. 1996, when he came back, he had 51%. That was Kufuor's second time. I don't know about. He had 51%. Edubahe was 54%. Now, we keep President Akufo-Addo. In 2007, at Legon, he didn't even clock up to 50%. there had to be negotiation for us not to continue the conference and acclaim him the winner. And this first time to contest an election in this party, in this country, assemblyman uncontested, class uncontested leader, he was able to get 61%. And you sit here, now I catch him and say, I mean, it's a total rejection. But do you think that all those who contested Mahama, because Mahama in 2012, Mahama in your contest, in 2023, when you contest, 2016, when you contest, 2020, when you contest, you want to compare those who contested Mahama, Sylvester Mensah, for instance, Maya No UPSA, Joshua Alabi, all of them to the strength of Kennedy Japan, all of them who is more resourceful, well known, more popular than Kennedy Japan. Confirm contested Mahama in 2020. In 2020, that's his first ever contested election. We'll be contesting presidential primaries there. They be a chinchaman for Senate Amano Noko. 2012 Sundays here, 2016 Sundays here, 2023 Korea, a man you contesting, man, no open bush here, for instance. Before we contesting, I want to change someone else on the day to election, so because the elections committee is not being fair.
16 regions, and my parent decree a day 14 regions, and 61%. Kennedy Japan at the 2 regions, and 37%. What does that mean?
What it means is that Kennedy was targeting. That was it. He was strategic in targeting certain constituencies, and it worked for him. So, as a party, the SAA said we need to assess, because after election, some of the constituencies say, how come this vote came out? Makari say, oh, your campaign now has on MP when they lead MP no cry and pen ask them na mode ba me campaign question nsa. Enti a protest vote na 820 am because the MP no sabamia we no hon ma e be ma MP no nyima kosoro ama na ko we ni primaries no aye ba no enti e be 20 ano.
Enti constituency be to say Bantama and is it
Bantama was targeted. Bantama was well targeted. I'm catching said there are certain constituencies that were targeted. So what happened in someone Adwoje?
Some share the number of votes.
Bamia won convincingly.
How many percent?
Oh, he won convincingly. He won over 50%. Over 50%. He won convincingly. I can go through the pages and get to the data. He won convincingly. But you see, in everything aside, as a party, right? So we contest you get to see Okosi Bonibese and the shortfall. Baby, I only say a problem with constituency. A problem with constituency, constituency executives, and your presidential candidate are more than about. A MP no hold no, our leading campaign, any problem. A be offer constituency abuse for hold man. A be uncle for now, only the campaign, uncle for police executives, who say now this person is a problem in the constituency, or you'll be a hard constituency, and they say the campaign man. And throughout the constituencies, there are so many issues that came up and it affected.
Okay.
And as a party, what we will do is that we will have to do our analysis. Each and every constituency, what happened here. And you bet me who problem my our constituency. Then we can use that to solve. Okay. Unlike your presidential candidate, who's always had it cheap. 2012, he contested with no gas and vote. 2020, 23 with no. Still, he had no still has and vote. So,
Dr. Makuba sama wakan. Uchi so se kan okano ya say vote buying. Na onim say where the bill use why say obe test obe so judiciary na hwe say judiciary be free and fair e wo ruling ho ana na what you dey vote buying asem o kan no e wo nyina so bi
aja kwabna omana ye wo mu no eno ntina emra no ene court e wo ho sisia no MPP abana ye to ye no e dey di pay say monetization in politics no are taking different twists. Just say omo no clear, open. Amo obi who say irrespective of the establishment na ediba omiye kire no. Say sika yamfa nkoma delegate ya. Yenye den yentimi woni aba. Enene ade a eye yawa yura amwakoba ese ono as party ba no. Ade a eye sabone enti no obefa so akokot ye be support se onkone yen test sa emra we ni yen hwe se monetization in our politics. Na say abane gene hu di say yewura Bawumia as vice president for 7 years. Ujin hu di say aso wa ye adwuma na nka so otimamufu ani a adentina ukotua saa sika bosudo so powe. Uhwe sika 400 Ghana na wa calculate by the number of delegate. Ho na obehu saa sika no. Na afa de wa hwe say saa sika yi no wa compare ti se enkwada ye tete form e wo school mu a yenya akonya ntena so no wa compare enkwada wo ko suku a atade a ye besedi akosuku yenya bie na wa compare to akwanya tutututu ende wonam krom a adwuma baako a aso de wo krom pa eye pothole fixing emranti anka mu wa beti wa basa yese ye adwuma ni o mani mu ntene woni nam krom a won se emranti bebre ni nam krom na pothole na de omo ye nsa mo sesa notie no gu pothole ni mu a anajo o ma sa kozi se from na de ache enti one joint a yesisa pothole notie gu mu no de bia be kona emranti ni gina ho enam se sika e wo se ye di create enabling environment ma mbaburu nya adwuma ye no ye de akoshe monetization ni ye to vote enti yewura makwata pese yewura makoba pese o taking it up ye be so na ono so interest ne hwe di besi eja kwabene ensama ye kan ye nwan mo nte ase ono ankasa ne party ne history no onim ebra na almost analysis of nya Bawumia ne first time awanya onkwohwe the electoral college onkwohwe the population of the voter omo register no fan compare any day ye came from President Kufuor beso deba. This is the lowest and only comparative analysis na ye no ni ya tell say voter wura Bawumia nya any afoforo no omoka ho nya ye no e kire se party no oye what the factors ni nyina tunsanie so no adoso mu a e kire se indirectly no party no am pese ye wura Bawumia abedi so
electoral college ni lasefo no he na obetumi de ayenhwe so se eno ene de yomo ye memini de no ensunsun bi o mu abetumi justify wo asema wo ke
ye we Akufo-Addo de o 2 times the percentage was higher onya 90 plus
which year
onya 90 plus
which year
2020 dia ye we Akufo-Addo kwere onya say moko promise ye we Akufo-Addo
2020 anya
presidential
get to
Akufo-Addo the last ye we Akufo-Addo list a year onya the last a year onya 98%
every percentage
98%
2000 election no before the 2000 election
before the 2000 election
before ye
confirm
before the 2000 election
before the yes
before 2000 election no 2000 or 2000
no 2000 before 2000 and
get a year right
2012 2016 2020
abaya 2 year no nesana mampeni no president dada
yes
obi contest no
so no okay
before 2020 that's 2016 2012 2016 the least figure we use here 98% 98% all they compare make sure said that as previous ones now boy Aliu Mahama ni ade omo no electoral college ni voter register it was different the population size was different enti ene what they compare the Yoruba Bawumia de koye and all share the population any campaign any strategy edi go this sika edi time change na at the end of the day akonye 61%. It's an indictment to the candidacy of what Yoruba Bawumia and no nanchen menia eja kwabra you see sanya ma we ya ye kani nyina make us a party man rejecting no omo tena ase no mudo so mu say as chairman of the economic management team ye ka say ye de nka besia body ye nhwese ye bebo besia na ye roto cry ye betim de aden aya akwanya ade enso ye ba ye public debt ye da wa ye 120 billion akodu 600 billion as at 2022 ye total revenue ebedi aban we nsem ye bedra bam ye si aban ye Akufo-Addo ye mama nya sika bebre na sika na wonya ye hu de ode ye mama ifra baso 2016 no sika ye nya ye total revenue e 248 billion ene ye Akufo-Addo ne Bawumia enko anya 800 and what 30 billion total revenue tax and untaxed revenue kabomwa sa total revenue na wonya no na Ghana for gusa say edie na sa total revenue at translate our economy no and na ye ka say 14% of youth unemployment e maburu enye adwuma nye entisika 830 billion no sa 830 billion no adwuma ben na wa create ediama oman no e ba ne say na out of aside 830 billion ni nyina no oman no ya reti yen say economy no e junk economy eja kwabana ye ka say wo ye junk economy a say economy no e bola enti mpanifo a wo madi oman anim ne yakọ junk economy e bola economy no sa mpanifo na say Ewuraba Bawumia be ka say nne opeso obegina ne yama ne so yama ne president ya question na party money busa ne say eba ne sana as vice president chairman of the economic management team odi yakọ junk economy
me da se kwese mensa me da se ye de be si kwese mensa Peter kwese mensa ba ma NDC na Atiku Yakubu mama MP ye bre na so
level ya sa na ye no
sa na ye
eti ma ke yi na one report
ebre ne ye adwuma bro ni
shesha another one you know class from the same party
mate mu mi no mama ba next time ye be ka ne ajabi ka jabi be ka ne adesia afena nkomo twetwe na hye ase ye be di nkomo na ato aso nti beda wasese munya abre ba ye ebre ne ade adwuma do ba kono ba apa ho dada yede besia na menim se brepam de aka nyina no so yede beto so bidi de gya kwabena mene abena bayie nyano ene yede kasebo no ebrem ye wa ya dmo cha no pa adje nso ma beba ya krama mu nyina mu ne hwe ma de yesu